Welcome back. This is a special episode of Light Beer, Dark Money. I'm Sean Noble.
And I am Chris Clements.
And this is our 1 year.
Our 1 year anniversary
show. Can
you believe that?
That's it. No, I can't.
I mean, we had breakfast or lunch, a little over a year ago. And I can't remember if you pitched the idea or I pitched the idea. Because I just...
No, you texted me and said, hey, you ever thought about doing a podcast? And I was like, as a matter of fact, Alex and I had purchased some equipment. And I was trying to figure out how to get it set up at my house. And I didn't clean my office for the first year of COVID. So I never had Alex over to set it up. And then you texted. I was like, oh.
Yeah, because Robert Vera...
it was one of my goals for 2020.
That's right. So Robert Vera, who's the executive director of Canyon Ventures, had come to me and said, hey, listen, we're thinking about doing some podcasts here. Have you ever thought about doing one? And I said, yeah, actually, I have. And I think I have somebody who I could do it with, but I need to check. And then you had the podcast equipment. That's right.
Well, but you had the great name. Light Beer, Dark Money.
Well, I was concerned about that name because I had it in my head as something that would contrast and kind of be funny. And then I passed it by, some folks that I knew, and they said, oh my gosh, that is the coolest name. I go, but I don't know if Sean will go for it because I think he's kind of sensitive about the dark money thing.
I stopped being sensitive about that.
Well,
a while ago.
And it's a ploy kind of at irony because. It's stuff that we're kind of known for, but it's not things we talk about in the podcast.
Right.
So it's kind of a con.
The long con.
This is
the long con. We get you listening because of the title, and you find out it's not about beer and it's not about dark money.
No.
What the hell?
Yeah, we've been trying to get a beer executive on for the better part of a year. No one wants to come on.
We did talk about dark money with Lori Roberts.
We did.
But we haven't
gave you your name, right?
Well, one of them.
Yeah,
she called it Dark Money Maestro.
Dark Money Maestro.
Prince of Dark Money came from Jane Mayer, I think, or maybe, yeah.
Prince of Dark
Money.
Yeah. And the other part of the irony is I don't like light beer. When I used
don't
to
have any
drink a
problem
lot
with
of
dark
beer,
money.
when I used to drink a lot of beer, that was the last thing I wanted to drink.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for sure. So I mean, what's been the highlight of the last year, and doing light beer, dark money for you?
I think that the
other than the present company.
Well, of course,
yeah,
it's fun. Well, it has been a blast. It's been more fun than I expected. I think it's been more successful than I dreamed possible. I figured we would top out at 100 listeners.
Yeah.
And we've got thousands.
And thank you to those first 100. Whoever those first 100 were, I think they were mostly just students that were watching us do what we were doing at Grand Canyon.
Yeah, I think they're
tuning in from time to time, and I know they're listening because I still office over there, and I get feedback.
They're good. Well, I get feedback. I know my wife listens because I get feedback.
Yeah, on
a regular basis.
You're gonna get feedback for the last one we just recorded for sure.
Yeah. And we had Alyssa on. We'll have her back. So I think that it was nice to start at Canyon Ventures. It gave us a chance to kind of get our sea legs, and then to land here at Star Worldwide Networks has been
with the immortal Dave Pratt. Yeah. The Morning Mayor.
Yeah. And of course, Robin and the team have been
phenomenal,
amazing.
They've been incredible. Yeah, we love you.
Yeah, Alex is super happy because he can just sit on the couch. Doesn't have to work.
He can listen and take pictures.
I'm here, but I don't have to work.
He doesn't have to do all the setup and everything.
He has to edit stuff.
You know what's pretty amazing? Alex deserves a lot of credit. I mean, honestly, that I got a lot of feedback early on of how professional the video looked, the sound, the makeup of the show where we were. A lot of people would say, "Gosh, it looks so professional. Where are you?"
Yeah.
We're in a room, over in the middle of
GCU. Slip shot of stuff put together.
Yeah, and we're just so the editing and the video quality and all that. I think it always pays, and it's a good idea to put out good product.
Yeah,
and then you can see where that goes.
But you can't do that without good people.
Nope, can't put out good product without good people.
Good people.
Yeah. pretty much business 101.
Well, and we wouldn't be as successful if Alex wasn't out there with the stuff that gets posted on social media, driving eyeballs, and So, Alex, thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yay, Alex!
One of these days, we're gonna have Alex on, so people can, if to watch, can see what he looks like. And for people
that
who
would
listen,
probably be a good thing.
Hear him. He's got a great voice.
He's got a voice and face made for radio.
Yeah.
I know. I have a face made for radio.
I think that's why we're here.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you?
I think my biggest surprise, I was thinking about this earlier, the guests that we've had. I first of all, I'm surprised they've come on and have wanted to come on. So many so that we haven't had really any repeaters, where we've cycled through and had people back.
And the only person we've had twice is Robert Vera, because the first one, that was our second episode, I think, in our video.
Conked out.
Yeah.
And so we had him for Veterans Day this year, and that made a lot of sense. That was good. But having somebody like Kathy Herod on, or Lori Roberts, or even our friend John Desser.
John Desser, Bob Robb, John Shaddig.
Bob Robb, John Shaddig, David Schweikert.
They've all been
really... We had Ann Coulter.
I mean, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, that is a big deal. Yeah, she's kind of very, very big deal.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And that's been the biggest surprise and I think blessing. And just want to thank everyone who listens and who has come on as a guest, because one thing that's been great about moving to the studio and the capabilities that we have here at Star Worldwide is that the Zoom quality is pretty top notch. And so we've been able to just branch out and invite some folks on who normally we wouldn't be able to have.
Right. Like Jars of Clay.
Yeah. Like Dan Haselden, Jars of Clay. So that's been great. That's been really great. It's been surprising. And whenever I reach out I reach out to people and say, you want to come on our podcast? Yeah. When you do it, I'll be there.
We really haven't had anyone say no. We've only had one person who's been delayed.
Yeah, she's delayed, and we're going to get her on at some point. Darcy Olson, calling you out. She's just busy.
She's very busy.
She's got
a lot of kids.
She's got 4 kids, and she's doing the Lord's work. Yeah. And she is CEO and president of Gen Justice, and they're trying to bring conservative solutions to a very important topic in terms of foster care and child services, states child
trying
services.
To save lives. I mean, she's
trying to save lives.
I mean, that's important work.
She's an old friend of ours, and we hope she comes on and shares more.
She's not old.
She's not old, but longtime friend. Yes,
yeah. We're the old ones.
We're the old ones. Yeah, we're absolutely the old ones for sure, and not getting any younger.
But I feel like this keeps us young. This is part of the regime of my longevity.
Yeah. People ask me, why are you doing this? And, I went through a lot of changes over the last 5-6 years, a lot of changes in lifestyle. Tomorrow, in fact, I'll celebrate 7 years of sobriety.
Nice.
Which is...
I'm way behind you. I just celebrated 7 months of sobriety.
And what's interesting about that is that we're recording this on St. Patrick's Day. I can distinctly remember that last kind of bender that I had, and it was in Washington, D.C. at the Round Robin Bar at the Willard. And there was either a National Governors Association happening or an RGA deal happening there, because in the bar that night was Haley Barber and Doris Kearns Goodwin. And I bought them both a Jameson and went over and talked to them. And the next morning I woke up, I met up with John Desser, and we went to work. And I did some intense working out of some intense issues that day, and woke up the next morning and been sober ever since.
There you go. Excellent.
Yeah. So, in terms of what, I just feel like we have something to say. and something to contribute. And it's not really about our own ego or you know, our own opinions, but something to contribute to the body politic that maybe not is not.
Yeah, I think we have some, you know, relatively interesting, and we have some relatively unique perspectives from the different aspects of the political life, of business life, just life. And, you know, yeah, we're two middle-aged white guys. But you know what? We could still be interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Every once in a while, we come up with something
Sometimes.
that might inspire someone. And,
yeah.
And somebody might agree or agree to disagree.
Well, and more importantly, I think it's the guests that really make it.
Yeah.
So if we can bring a guest on that, you know, provides some insight or inspiration or motivation to our listeners, then that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I think the pillars that we've decided on in terms of faith, freedom, and free enterprise. I mean, having leaders in the faith community, people who are trying to advance freedom, and then people are trying to keep our businesses and communities growing through free enterprises. Really, those are, to me, the three most important topics to discuss, because they are continuously under assault.
Totally.
And we can lose our country if we lose those three pillars.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's why we have to do it.
Yeah, and so if we can agree on something, even people who might disagree on how to get
I will
to be
say
successful in those
that
areas.
has the agree on something tag for me, if I'm being honest, is less of a thing.
Okay, you want to change it?
I don't know. Because, I mean, we've had a couple naysayers on, you know, Lori Roberts was one, and we found some stuff to agree on.
Yeah.
But we are pretty partisan.
Think we're like just two sides of the same brain too much?
I don't know if it's that. I'll have to give it some thought.
Well, I mean, a new year brings, you know, new stuff.
That's right.
And maybe we change our tagline and change some of our graphics or change
I
whatever.
don't know. Maybe we just drop the agree on something.
We can do that.
Because we either agree on everything or agree on nothing. I'm just kidding.
But we always agree on something.
That's true. But maybe it's just obvious.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's just like, meh.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we're not changing light beer dark money.
No, that actually works really well.
That works really well.
And people like it.
Well, some people. I'm sure there are some people who don't like it.
I'm sure there's some people who don't like a lot of things we do. But
Yeah.
that's okay.
Sure. There's no question.
That's okay. We're just, you know, two middle-aged white guys, firmly conservative, but with, you know,
But not crazy.
not
Well, at least
we're
not crazy in our own minds.
We're not crazy conservative like some folks out there.
Yeah.
We've both lived in the activist world. We've lived in the business world. We've lived in the campaign world, and so we know a little something about something.
And we both grew up reading National Review.
Yes, and we both had parents that thought we were crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not so much yours.
Mine probably less so than yours. But because my parents, like your dad, showed the importance of bipartisanship because good people can be on the other side.
Sure.
My parents were in the minority. They were Republicans in Navajo County in the 70s, and it was all Democrats. So they as a result, my mom especially tended to be even more partisan.
Yeah.
And more on the fringes, you know, John Birch Society type stuff. And I think I said this very early, one of our early podcasts was my first political memory, 1976, Ford loses to Carter. We're at the election night party. My mom is crying, and she says, now the Soviets are going to win. That was my introduction to politics.
She was almost correct.
Well, I mean, it's fascinating when you think about.
I mean, look at the
history
parallels
repeating
today.
itself.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we have a fairly weak president. We have an energy crisis.
That's an understatement.
We have Russia on
move.
the offense, and things do not look good.
Yeah, it's the parallels are stark in terms of how we grew up and then where we are today. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You
So
know, the Russians invaded Afghanistan back then, invaded Ukraine.
right.
Gas crisis, weak president with a divided left, ultra left, sort of a mushy middle minority,
Yeah.
Democrat Party. And the same, I read an article the other day, the same issues back then that were, why they picked Carter, which is sort of almost a compromise, just to try to get to win.
Right.
It's the same issues today.
Yeah.
They picked a Biden just to win, and it'll be what the challenge now is for the Republicans is you go backwards, or do you move forward?
Right. Are we going to go back to Nixon, or are we going to get a Ronald Reagan?
Exactly. Exactly.
I want the Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, I would rather have the Ronald Reagan, and and we're in that moment again.
Yeah, we are. It's amazing how history does, in fact, look very similar to itself.
Almost
repeating.
And well, I said a couple podcasts ago, I thought I had seen the weakest president in American history in Jimmy Carter. I was wrong.
Yeah,
I was wrong. This is a whole different level of fecklessness that I never thought I'd see.
no, it's frightening. It's just downright frightening.
Yeah.
So looking forward to the next year, it's going to be an interesting one. We've got a massive election.
Yep.
2022 midterms, all the stuff that leads up to that. We've got Russia. We've got China.
Yeah.
We've got, who knows? Inflation is going to continue to be an issue.
Yep.
Supply chain, especially with what's going on with Russia.
Yeah. The Fed announced that they're raising interest rates, by
0.25.
0.25, which 0 from 0 is still 0. So that's not even an increase.
Yeah.
And that's why the markets are on fire right now, because it's not really an increase.
Right.
It doesn't really affect anything.
It's like, oh, thank you.
Thanks. If they had gone up a point or 2 points, that would be something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's still from 0.
Right.
Which historically speaking is nothing.
Nothing. Changes coming to Arizona. We have all of our statewide offices up for re-election. We have a Senate race. We've got, the legislature redistricting. There'll be a changed congressional delegation.
Which we should win 6 seats, but again, Republicans can
have the ability to screw it up.
Screw it up royally.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be, I think, the next year. I think when we're sitting here on in the middle of March 2023, I think we'll have a lot to reflect upon.
Yeah. Well, and again, going back to how blessed we've been in terms of the guests who've come on, we've had a lot of those people in the political spectrum reach out to us and want to come on, and we're really grateful for that. So we should have a lot of fun this next year too.
And if you have suggestions for guests, let us know.
Yeah.
Shoot us a note. info@lightbeerdarkmoney.com. Does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should know these things, but
we should know these things.
Alex manages all that.
Yeah.
We just show up and just speak.
DM us on the socials, whatever, comments,
questions.
The biggest thing is thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
Thank you to all of our great guests for indulging us.
Exactly. And we look forward to continuing it and having a great year ahead.
Yeah. Faith, freedom, free enterprise. The founding principles of this great country. God bless you.
Thanks, guys. See ya.